I have 3 vintage fish keeping books here, and I'm curious to see how accurate they are according to today's technologies. Pet care knowledge is constantly growing and expanding, so I don't expect these to be completely accurate to what we know today. So here's the first one. It's not dated, but after doing some research online, people think it's from the 60s or 70s. It's got some discus on the front, pretty cute. Oh, here's some of the other books they did. Know Your Goldfish. I really want to read that one. Look at this picture. All right, we've got some live bears and some cardinal tetras here. These pictures are really nice looking. It says cardinal tetras do best and are extremely attractive when kept in small schools of 5 or more, which is still true. So I guess that means that these cardinal tetras here are not very attractive because there's only 3 of them. Instead of saying dechlor, they call it chemical chlorine neutralizer. It's a mouthful. We're too lazy to say all that nowadays. Okay, we've got a picture of a pleco. This should be interesting. Sucker mouth catfish, they say. Although some people find this armored catfish attractive in its ugliness, most purchasers buy it as a glass cleaner and algae eater par excellence. Smaller specimens do the best job. Larger ones have a tendency to disturb the plants. That is true. I kind of wish they said something about the fact that they're not only there to clean the glass for you, like they need to eat some other things other than algae. Check this out. These rasboras are like upside down under a leaf. And then look at these illustrations of some aquatic plants. That's pretty cool. Some more illustrations. Ooh, let's read about some fish diseases. Who the fuck gets excited about that? We're gonna read about ick. Just flip the page and it's just this randomly. Treatments rely on either the dye malachite green or hydrochloride. So they don't say anything about salt or, I mean, I guess the medications specifically for ick are newer, but you can't use aquarium salt. There had to have been aquarium salt back in the day. But yeah, my favorite way to cure ick is aquarium salt for 2 weeks, a gravel vac every day. Fin and tail rot and mouth fungus. These 2 diseases are caused by bacteria which usually attack a fish only after injury. Not only after injury though, let's be real. It could be caused by literally anything that is going wrong with your fish or your tank. Improper temperature, improper water parameters. They're getting stressed out, they're getting bullied, their immune system is weakened by all of these things. A number of antibiotics specifically packed for these diseases are available. So they had medicine specifically for fin rot back then, so that's good. Dropsy and pop eye. Both these diseases are external manifestations of any one of a number of internal bacterial infections, usually with kidney and or liver involvement. True, there are other things that cause dropsy. Recovery is rare. That's true for dropsy especially. Pop eye is less fatal than dropsy. All right, now we're getting into popular hardy aquarium fish. First one being live bearers, specifically guppies. Females are larger than males and a dull greenish color. Bro, that's so funny because I always describe the colorless females as being gray or like beige, but Jade and my boyfriend always says that they're green, and I'm like, what do you mean green? Like they're maybe like a hint of green, but they're gray, but greenish. I have been proved wrong. What color do y'all think female guppies are? Let me know in the comments. It doesn't give much information on guppy care. Oh wow, okay, now we're getting into platies. This caption here says that the crescent platies, which are now known as Mickey Mouse platies sometimes, says a recent introduction of platies called a mirror has reflective scales on the sides, which is like super common nowadays. So that's really interesting that that was a newer thing when this book was published. The all-red platy, along with the all-red swordtail, is the only all-red fish which can be kept in numbers in an aquarium. That's interesting. That's not true anymore. Swordtails are larger and more elongated than platies, and larger tank swordtails make an arresting display. It's very true. And they do need larger tanks than platies, so thank you. See, this old ass book even knows that. Okay, sorry. The function of the male sword is uncertain, but at any rate, it is not an offensive weapon. The Simpson or high fin swordtail is a newer variety. The dorsal fin of both sexes develops into a large flag. Got another new fish that just dropped when this book came out. Now we're moving on to mollies. A new variety called the lyre-tail molly has been recently introduced. This is crazy. Oh, here's some stuff about catfishes and other bottom feeders. Let's check this out. Corridores. Catfish that feed on the bottom of the aquarium are categorized as Corridores types. Guess they categorize any bottom feeder as a Corridora, which is crazy. Hippostomus is one of the more common sucker mouth types. Another similar animal belonging to another genus is sometimes available as brush-mouthed Plecostomus. All grow fairly large and are not especially attractive to most people. A single specimen can keep the algae on a glass in plants efficiently browsed away in tanks up to 25 gallons in size. Let me read that again. Brush-mouthed pleco has to be a bristlenose pleco. So in that case, yes, 25 gallons. I think we should be a little bit more specific than saying up to 25 gallons, because that could mean literally any number up to 25. I would not keep a bristlenose pleco in anything under 20 gallons, to be honest. Large numbers of a quite different suckermouth type from Southeast Asia are sold as Chinese algae eaters. The algae eaters remain small and for this reason are desirable, especially in tanks of 15-gallon capacity or less. Bruh, Chinese algae eater stays small? 15 gallons or less, you say? Maybe they stayed smaller back then somehow? I mean, I know humans were smaller way back then, like way before this book was even made. Is it possible for fish to get that much bigger over time? Nowadays, Chinese algae eaters grow to 11 inches. How the fuck is that gonna fit in a 15-gallon tank? I can't believe my ears. I can't believe my eyes. Or my ears. I'm done with this. Bubble nest builders. Bettas and gouramis belong to a family. I'm nervous. Male bettas fight viciously with each other and must be kept separated. Yes, love that. They do not fight with other fish, so one male can be kept in a community tank. That is not always true. Some bettas are just obnoxious, and I'm sure they've gotten more aggressive over time, especially with being kept in smaller containers and not having enriching enough environments. There have been studies done that show that enriching environments decrease aggression in bettas. I mean, they all have different personalities. Some bettas are fine with tank mates, some are absolutely not okay with it at all. Female bettas may be kept together, but since males are aggressive towards females, the sexes should be kept separate except when they are being bred. Very true, but are they going to specify? They do not specify how many female bettas can be kept together and in what conditions. There is a very specific way you have to keep female bettas in a sorority or else it will fail. And even if you do everything right, it can still fail. All right, now we're moving on to this one called Tropical Fish Hobbyist. Y'all, what a deal, 75 cents. This one was published in 1977. I'm nervous. This one feels more like a magazine. Ooh, these pictures are a lot brighter, very pretty. There's old advertisements in here. Does this brand even exist anymore? Self-starting siphon lets you filter up to 50 gallons per hour. Is it a siphon or a filter? It says airlift filter. Oh my gosh, look at this old advertisement for fish food. That's nice. It says move over Tetra, Wardley's going international. I wonder if Wardley's succeeded because I've never heard of them and I've heard of Tetra many times. My god, look at this air pump. Looks like a pencil sharpener. There's more Wardley's fish food advertisements and picture of this pretty killifish. Oh my god, I just noticed this on the back. Introducing krill. Or a little picture of a betta. All these fish are probably dead by now. It's so sad. A good heater is especially important for bettas because they require warm water in the low 80s, especially when breeding. Yeah, low 80s, high 70s. Yeah. Bro, there's like news in here. Fish news. What? SeaWorld loses money. Blind loach found in Iran. Forest management and aquatic environments. More than one ick species. Why don't we get stuff like this anymore? Does anything like this still exist? Does anything like this still exist? Because I would love to have a fish newspaper, bro. Employees buy out aquarium systems. Fishing falls as Amazon rises. Fish Week? Following Georgia's declaration of Aquarium Day and Florida's proclamation of Tropical Fish Week, a national move is afoot to have the federal government declare a National Aquarium Week, a move which could unite manufacturers, retailers, and hobbyists into one happy family for 1 week at least. That did not happen, but there is a National Zoo and Aquarium Month, which is in June, which is Pride Month, which is like probably the best month of the year, if you ask me. These color ads are so cool. This one's for an under gravel filter. Oh my god, look how cute this newspaper section is. It has little guppies on the top. This literally is like a fish magazine, basically. It has news, advertisements. There's not much on fish keeping specifically, but there is a little bit about like aquarium heaters and stuff. Look at these little bumblebee gobies. So cute. Bro, Tetramin, look at this. This is crazy. The bottles haven't even changed that much. Okay, I'm basically just looking at the pictures in this one now because this is fun. I'm having fun. Pen plaques. Bro, this is crazy. Well, that's about it for this. It's a lot of advertisements, a lot of news, not much about actual fish keeping information. But please let me know if there's still something like this around, because I would definitely subscribe to or pay for a fish magazine like this. This is the one I'm really excited to get into, and there's a goldfish right on the front, so I'm very excited to see what they say about these goldfish. What the fuck is that? Oh, and there's a betta on the back of it, so you know it's gonna be good. This one was published in 1972. Life barriers. pH 7 or DH 8 suits pretty well all, as does 76 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Big variations are possible. Yeah. Oh, now we're getting into the goldfish. I'm nervous. I love this. The distinction between cold water aquarium fish like Arondas, telescopic-eyed blackmores, fantails, veiltails, etc., and the large, fast-growing, needing masses of room and oxygen fish like goldfish is important. Vital, in fact, particularly as too many uninformed people still talk of keeping goldfish in tanks. They're talking about comet goldfish. I mean, if you have a ginormous tank, you can keep a comet goldfish or a common goldfish in a tank, but it's just easier to dig out a giant pond and put them in that. It's also cheaper. The tank cold water beauties will win your hearts, especially if your personal preference is for fish of 2 inches to 4 inches rather than the standard 1 to 2 inch of the tropicals. Fancy goldfish get bigger than 2 to 4 inches, my man. Who wrote this? Reginald. They get bigger than that, Reginald. The other book was saying Chinese algae eaters stay small. This is saying fancy goldfish stay smaller than they do nowadays. So I'm gonna have to look into this and see if we've been breeding fish to get bigger and bigger, or maybe back in the day their growth was just being stunted more. I have no idea what's happening here, but it is interesting for sure. Golden rule. For a tank, the fish body should be shorter, more rounded, with better finnage. For a pond, fast-swimming, slim torpedo shapes up to lengths of 14 inches and more are acceptable. You can keep a fancy goldfish in a pond and you can keep a slim body goldfish in a tank, but I understand what they're saying. And yes, I appreciate it. And that's all it says about goldfish. I'm honestly like a little disappointed. I thought we would get more information, but it's just kind of generic. Catfish and loaches, okay? They're just like doing a blanket statement for all catfish and loaches right here. This is what they say. They prefer lower temperatures, 70 to 74 degrees Fahrenheit, often allergic to salt. I've never heard of a pleco being allergic to salt. An allergy to it? Anyway, I'm skipping back to the beginning of the book now because I'm interested in what they're saying about tank setup. And the first paragraph I actually really love. It says, to your pet fish, the aquarium is its entire home, a place it will never leave, 24 hours for each and every relentlessly unchanging day for the rest of its whole life. Please make the home a nice one. How lovely is that? Bro, this is awesome. Any human who says that fish have no feelings has got a lot to learn, and given a chance, the fish will soon teach him. No wonder they're popular and the demand for them has grown right around the world. That's for you, whoever commented on my TikTok a long time ago and said fish don't have brains. You don't have brains. We've known that fish have feelings since, at least since 1972, so take that. I didn't see anything about the nitrogen cycle in here, but it did mention nitrites and nitrates, but it didn't say anything about how that works. I don't even know. Let's read about some more fish diseases, shall we? Okay, let's read about dropsy in this book and see how it does compared to the other book. Dropsy is when the scales all stick out and the fish becomes bloated in patches or all over the body. Nowadays, it is nearly always due to an internal infection and medicines are available. So too is the tip of soaking foods and medicines before feeding. The disease is not normally infectious unless the skin breaks and the causative microorganisms escape into the water. There are many kinds of these now. Well known is the remedy of puncturing the swollen parts to release the exudation. Insert a needle a few millimeters before the anal and in the direction of the head. I'm so glad we found out that Epsom salt draws the liquid out of the fish's body and that we don't have to stab them anymore. What? Let me tell you a little story real quick. So I used to have a panda telescope goldfish named Poe, and as soon as I brought him home, I realized that there was fish lice on him. And this fish lice ended up leading to dropsy. So I brought him to the vet because I knew that dropsy was most of the time fatal and I really did not want him to pass away. And what ended up happening was the vet prescribed him medicine, shots basically. I had to give him shots every day, which is not fun for a goldfish. Probably did more harm than good, stressing him out, having to give him a shot every day. But whatever, I was trusting the vet, okay? So I don't know if the shot was recommended because it would just go straight into the bloodstream, or for this reason, like so it could like puncture him and get the juices out. I don't fucking know, and I don't want to know, and I don't want to think about it anymore. So let's move on. Lice and worms. Oh, speak of the fish lice. These are parasites clinging externally to the body and can be pulled off by tweezers, although the real harm will have been done not to the body, not even to the eyes, but to the ultra-sensitive gill plates. If these are inflamed, then cures get more despairing. It just recommends pulling the fish lice off with tweezers, but you should be cleansing the area with something afterwards. I used hydrogen peroxide, I think, after I did it, because you want to prevent infection in that open wound. Formaldehyde? I can't believe this. I don't want to read anymore. That gave me the chills. Oh my god, how many people used formaldehyde in their tanks after reading this? Okay, this recommends for white spot, which it's describing ick, The old cure was to raise the temperature to 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, but the local temperatures in Asia and Africa are already that. We now suggest that you seesaw the temperature, 80 degrees Fahrenheit one day, 95 degrees Fahrenheit the next, back to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. This is not true for all fish, bro. If you have a goldfish with ick, you do not want to bring that temperature all the way up to 90 degrees. I will say that raising the temperature, which is what they say is the old cure, that is part of the modern day cure, is to raise the temperature to speed up the life cycle of the ick so they die more quickly. This mentions methylene blue. Okay, let's go. This is just crazy. I'm done. That was fun. I gotta admit, that was fun. It was a little concerning. It was a little anxiety inducing, but I had fun. It was very interesting. I will be reading more of these. I am surprised at how accurate a lot of it was. I am a little disappointed at how generic a lot of the information was. They didn't go into that much detail on a lot of the fish care specifically. Like, they would group together like catfish and loaches like we saw, or just not give like full water parameters for each fish or behaviors for each fish or tank setup, because there was no internet when these books were published. So this is all that fish keepers had to go by. I would love to get some more of these, especially this one. Know your goldfish. That's gonna be a juicy one for sure. Thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun doing this, and let me know what you think about this in the comments. Was this information better or worse than you expected? And if you've been watching this long, comment. Labyrinth. Okay, peace and love. Okay, time for thumbnails. How the hell am I gonna do this? This is why I have wrinkles on my forehead.